They had made one fatal mistake. They forgot to lower the ladder. All 6 of them were now trapped in the water with no way back onto the boat. Panic set in instantly. At any moment, sharks could appear, and to make things worse, a woman's baby was still alone on the boat with no one to protect it. Jack, the boat's owner, tried climbing up using a floating board, but he lost his balance and fell. The board was punctured and began leaking. Next, they attempted to use a flagpole, but it couldn't handle their weight and snapped immediately. One of them was already too exhausted to keep swimming. They asked Jack if there was any other way back on board, but he didn't know the boat well enough to help. Suddenly, they heard a phone ringing. A shirt was caught on the edge of the deck with the phone wrapped inside. Jack jumped and pulled it down, but when they grabbed the phone, it was already soaked and useless. Frustration grew as someone started suffering from muscle cramps. A yacht passed nearby. They waved desperately for help, but the people on board thought they were simply waving and sailed away. Jack then had an idea. He told everyone to remove their clothes. They tied them together to make a rope, and Jack managed to hook it onto the railing. For a moment, hope returned, but the makeshift rope couldn't support the weight. It snapped, crushing their spirits once again. The curly-haired man clenched the only knife in his mouth and dove beneath the boat, hoping to access the cabin from below. But the underside was completely sealed. When he surfaced, the knife slipped from his hand. He dove again to retrieve it, but held his breath too long. As he rushed back up, his head slammed into the propeller. He emerged screaming, blood pouring from his ear. Seeing this, the bearded man grabbed the knife and began stabbing the boat, trying to force open the ladder. Jack swam over to stop him. They struggled over the knife, and in the chaos, Jack accidentally stabbed the man in the stomach. In the water, the bleeding couldn't be stopped, and he soon died. Then they realized Jenny was missing. Terrified by the blood and fearing sharks, she had swum away. But she wasn't a strong swimmer. She quickly lost her strength and sank. Enraged, the injured curly-haired man struck Jack. 6 hours passed. The bearded man's girlfriend finally lost hope and swam off to find help, but she never returned. That night, heavy rain began to fall. The curly-haired man, weakened by his head injury, could no longer survive. Only Sarah and Jack remained. They were completely broken. Jack stared at the diving mask in his hand when an idea suddenly struck him. He smashed the mask and wedged the lens into a gap in the boat, barely using it to support his weight. Then he let Sarah step on him to climb up. After several attempts, she finally made it onto the deck. She immediately lowered the ladder and rushed into the cabin to check on the baby. Jack stared at the ladder in front of him, but he didn't climb up. 4 of his friends had died because of him, and he didn't know how he could live with that guilt for the rest of his life.